Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are taking a journey into the past, and along the way, we will uncover a forgotten treasure, the folk medicine of the ancient Germanic people. The foundation for this journey is a work that almost faded into oblivion. The research of Max Höfler. You may have never heard his name before, but he was one of the very first to systematically collect how the Germanic tribes used their plants for healing. And why is this still important today? Stay with me until the end, because you'll be surprised how relevant this knowledge still is. Who was Max Höfler? Max Höfler lived from 1848 to 1914. He was a physician, a medical historian, and a folklorist. More than 100 years ago, he focused on a subject that feels more current than ever. How did our ancestors use the plants growing right outside their doors to stay healthy? At that time, modern medicine was not as developed as it is today. Many people in rural areas could not afford a doctor. Instead, they turned to herbs, home remedies, and old rituals that were passed down from generation to generation. And this is where Max Höfler comes in. He collected this valuable knowledge, wrote it down, and studied it scientifically. For him it was clear. In stories, traditions, and myths there is more than just superstition. There are real hints about the healing powers of nature. He wanted to understand, why have people trusted certain herbs for centuries? Which rituals had a real medical meaning, and which were more symbolic? In this way, Höfler was far ahead of his time. He saw nature, culture, and healing not as separate things, but as a unity. Our modern medicine is a blessing, no doubt. But more and more people are searching again for natural support. They ask themselves, which plants are growing all around me? What healing powers do they have? And how can I use them for my own well-being? When we look into Höfler's work, we don't just see history. We discover a bridge that can help us reconnect with nature. That is what makes his work so valuable. Let's look at a few examples. The Germanic people used mugwort not only as a spice, but also for cleansing and to restore strength when exhausted. They used the birch tree for skin problems and for the bladder, knowledge that still lives on in modern herbal teas. And the elder tree was considered almost magical. People believed it connected humans and gods. At the same time, its blossoms were used to fight fever and colds. Isn't it fascinating that so much of this has been confirmed by modern science? Mugwort is indeed used for digestion. Birch leaves are recognized in phytotherapy for bladder issues. And elderflower tea, I am sure many of you know it as a home remedy for colds. What makes Höfler's research so remarkable is how he worked. He collected old folk songs and searched them for healing plants. For example, lines like, "Elder soothes cough and pain." He even studied fairy tales, where herbs often had a mysterious role. This shows us that plants were not just medicine, they were part of culture, ritual, and belief. People did not see nature as something separate, but as a living partner. Of course, not every ritual is directly useful today. But the point is, this old knowledge can open our eyes. We begin to see many plants that we dismiss as weeds actually have a centuries-old tradition as healing herbs, and we learn to value nature again as something far more powerful than we often think. What old remedies do you know from your own family? Maybe your grandmother made onion syrup for coughs. Or maybe you know stories of herbs that were collected in your village. Share your experiences in the comments. I think it's so exciting to bring these hidden treasures back into the light together, and this is only the beginning. In the next videos, we'll explore specific plants exactly as Höfler described them. We'll dive into their history, their folk names, and of course their uses, both then and now. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell. That way you'll always know when a new video in this series is out. I hope today's video gave you an inspiring look into the work of Max Höfler and why his knowledge is still so valuable today. Because Germanic folk medicine is more than just history. It is part of our roots, and maybe, within it, we can also find guidance for our future. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.